This testimony is a roller coaster ride. I had this whole plan for myself, for my life, and it looks nothing like what I planned. God took that plan, he snatched that plan up, looked at it, and ripped that thing into shreds. Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. This is Amara. I am so excited for this YouTube journey. Honestly, this page is really just going to be for people like myself who are new entrepreneurs who don't really know what they're doing, but they just giving it to the Lord and allowing him to guide our steps, and really just to share my testimony and hopefully, it inspires somebody. Also too, y'all, literally, I'm going to share the whole process of starting a business because y'all, it's a lot. So I wrote it down because I be losing my train of thought. Just to give y'all backstory about my new business, I am the CEO and founder of Arete Shoe Co. I'm going to be selling shoes for women who have extended shoe sizes, meaning aka bigger feet. I'm one of the ones who has an extended shoe size. And it's always since day one of growing up trying to find shoes for me that fit, that are cute. Like, it's always been a struggle. And not only do I have big feet, I have big feet, wide feet, and flat feet. It used to be something I used to be super insecure about. I used to hate my shoe size. I really did. I really used to dread going bowling, going to the skating rink. I used to hate having to tell my shoe size in front of people, especially like if it was like in front of boys. Look at me like, dang, Goliath. I don't know. I just hated it. And I just feel like I was judged all the time because I had big feet as a woman. And it's one thing to have big feet, but you're a little tall. So it kind of like, evens out. But like, I'm only 5'6" and my feet are this big. I wear a size 11 on a good day, but normally on a normal day, a 12. Depending on the shoe, the style, all the things. Sometimes I can even fit into a 13, depending on the shoe. That was just something I struggled with for a long time, was just being secure in myself with my shoe size. So I remember this was probably back in 2019, maybe 2020. Honestly, I think it's earlier than that, but that's just like the soonest I can just recall. God gave me a vision to start a business for women who struggle with the same thing like myself. And back then I was in college, I was young, I was broke. So I didn't have no resources to even fathom starting a business. At least that's what I thought. And I was just like, that's a cute idea, but I don't know how to make shoes. I don't know nobody who gonna make me some shoes. So anyways, talk to you later, God. I really like brushed off the Lord one whole time. He like, girl, if you just had faith the size of a mustard seed, we gonna get there. It was a lot of me doubting myself at that time. And again, where am I gonna get the resources from? How am I gonna get the money to fund this? I don't know anybody who owns a business. I don't have family who own businesses. It would just be me figuring it out for myself. I don't know how to do that. So for a long time, the idea just sat dormant. It just was in my brain, and every now and again, and I do believe it was the Holy Spirit plugging that in every now and again, nudging me like, remember that business I told you about? But throughout the years, it was just like, well, again, I still don't have the resources. I still don't know how to do X, Y, Z. So I just brushed it off. I will say that lasted for about 5 years, 5 to 6 years. From 2019 up until 2025 is when I really started taking the business serious. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm a Jesus girly, and my relationship with him grew a lot in 2024. June of 2024 to be exact. Before June of 2024, y'all, I was a completely different person. I was raggedy, real bad. And thank God for his grace and his mercy and everlasting love, because the way that he just welcomed me back with open arms. Y'all, I was raggedy. It was a lot. Girl, I don't know if y'all heard that, but my dishwasher just unlocked. And it sounded like somebody was trying to bust in here. I about had a heart attack. Sorry, that just threw me off. But I just thank him for his everlasting grace, mercy, and love, because that's the only thing that saved me from the mess I was before I grew intimately with him. So anyways, years prior, like I said in college, when I was doubting myself, I didn't have much faith. I went to church and on Sundays, but the rest of the week I was doing my thing. I was out partying, clubbing, doing what I wanted to do. So the faith wasn't there, of course. So I grew in my relationship with him intimately in June 2024. Then like it kind of just took off. Was in my word more. I was praying more. I was doing a lot more fasting than I ever done in my life. I'm only 25, so I was doing a lot more of that than I ever have. My faith is also growing as well. So in about, I would say January, February of 2025, the Lord put that vision that he gave me 5-6 years ago back in my brain, like, hey, remember that idea I gave you? It's time for you to finally step out on faith. And I'm, again, you know, still, I don't have any family members who are entrepreneurs. I didn't know nobody who had a successful business. So I still had the same like questions like, God, well, I don't know what I'm doing. Clearly, literally have no tools to like help me other than literally just leaning into you. And I'm sure God was like, that's the point. That's what I want you to do, is to lean into me and trust me that what I told you 5-6 years ago is actually gonna happen and come to pass. I really had to drop all my plans and just trust him. Cause y'all, I didn't even tell y'all this. I'm a nurse, and I'm a nurse who had a whole plan for herself when I graduated nursing school. My plan, graduating nursing school in 2022, was to go to school, work in the ICU for a couple years, go travel a little bit, come back, get my nurse practitioner license, become a nurse practitioner, making all types of money, XYZ, all the things. God took that plan, he snatched that plan up, looked at it, and ripped that thing into shreds. I'm talking about, y'all, my plan, literally, I got in the ICU. Within 8 months, I hated it, and I left, and I do something completely. I mean, I'm still a nurse, but I do a whole different scope of nursing now. I literally was questioning myself and kind of asking God, like, I had this whole plan for myself, for my life in this career, and it looks nothing like what I planned. I honestly feel like I'm literally waking up just to go to work and come home, and that's it. Like, I feel like I have nothing to really live for. Not to live for, that sounds sad, but nothing that's really like, I don't know. I feel like I can't describe it, but just, I don't have that oomph about my life anymore. Like in college, you know, it's always something going on. It's always something different. I'm used to that. And versus now, it's really like, I wake up, go to work, come home, boom, that's it. Like, I don't have anything that's like, you know, motivating me, I guess, to be better. Mind y'all, this is back in 2023. I was just very like, what am I doing with my life? What is this, God? Like, what even is my assignment? Because I don't even know at this point. It's just so funny how he works and how he gives you the next steps and instructions when you're ready for them. Because at that time, I wasn't ready for them. Because mind y'all, I didn't take my relationship with him serious until June 2024. So 2023, I was still out there wilding out, having a good time, doing what I want to do, XYZ. He knew I wasn't ready for the instructions that he was going to give me at this present day, way back then when I was out there acting a fool. Going back to present day, when I do like have more faith and have a little bit more instruction and vision about what he's calling me to do, which is this, you know, plan that he gave me years ago, I'm like, okay, God, like I submit. I'm going to do this thing, even though I don't know what I'm doing. So around July, mind you, I didn't put no pen to paper at that time. It was just like, I knew I was going to do it. I didn't put it down officially on paper. And July is when I, you know, was like, okay, I'm really going to do this, and kind of like trying just to figure out like in my brain logistics wise and how that looks and everything like that. So where am I at the story? Okay, so July of 2025, I am on the phone with one of my closest friends, and we're just talking, discussing how, you know, I'm finally going to start this business, and I tell her what it is, what my vision for it is, all the things. And she was like, I saw this girl on TikTok who is kind of doing something similar to what you want to do. And I was just like, oh, really? And she was like, yeah. And because I was telling her, like, I don't know what to do, who to go to, what this even looks like. I don't know none of that. And when she said, I'm like, well, that's like amazing. She was like, yeah, I don't really remember her name. Let me try to find her. I didn't even think she would even find the girl because she didn't follow her. Nothing. It was just like she just was scrolling one day and came across it, and it was, you know, that was it. She just kept going. So she finds her, sends me her page, and literally it was selling shoes for women who had extended shoe sizes, but her business was more on the luxurious shoes, like luxurious heels, versus mine is going to be more like your casual, like shoes you can wear anywhere, shoes that you can wear to elevate your look type of thing. But still, we're essentially kind of in the same market. And she was like, yeah, maybe you can like reach out to her and see, you know, if she responds. And mind y'all, she is a content creator down. Like, I went to her page and she had, I think, like 200,000+ followers on TikTok. Her business page had like 60K plus followers on there. So I'm like, oh, she's a creator. I was like, if I email this girl, she is not gonna respond to me. And me and my friend were talking, and she was just like, I mean, just shoot your shot, try at least. And I was like, you're right. The worst that can happen is either she don't respond or she don't, you know, help me. So I sat on that for probably a few weeks, to be honest. I didn't act immediately on it, but I emailed her in September. And I try to be smart about it. She had, of course, you know, content creators have their content email for brands and stuff like that to email them. Went to her business email and emailed her. I don't know. I think that's pretty smart because, like, I'm sure her content creation email is flooded, but her business email, only customers should at least be emailing that email. So it's a better chance that she gonna see that business email. So I emailed the business email, and pretty much, and also too, like, her business was very much like, you know, Christ-centered as well. And that's exactly what I want to do as well. Because it's, at the end of the day, all of this is giving glory to him, like all of it, period. I pretty much just said, like, you know, hey, my name is Amara. You know, I really love your testimony about your business, how you started everything. I would really love it if you have any advice or your recommendations. Because mind y'all, at the time of September, I had already got my LLC. I had got all the official documents. I was just at the point of trying to find vendors, and I was having a hard time trying to find some vendors. So I was just like, you know, if you have any just advice or maybe any vendor recommendations, I would love, like, to just hear whatever you have to say, basically is what I said. Y'all, she didn't answer. And I was just like, you know what? She's probably busy. I mean, my girl's a creator for real. So she probably busy. She probably got stuff to do. She probably ain't even seen it. It is what it is. Fast forward a couple weeks. 2819, I don't know if y'all, I mean, probably a lot of people know the church, but 2819 is a popular church in Atlanta, Georgia. They were having a very big prayer event, and I was prepping, you know, to like go to that, really praying and like seeking the Lord and just like whatever he was going to do at this event. Like, mind y'all, 2018, when they have stuff, big stuff like that, it draws in thousands of people. So I was just really just praying, asking the Lord, like, you know, whatever he's trying to do within the masses of people who are going to be there, like all the things, just praying over like whatever he's going to do with me personally. And y'all, I cannot make this up. I hear, which at the time I thought it was me, I hear you're going to see her at that event. Mind you, I emailed her back in September. At this point, this is like October. I haven't thought about that email or thought about, like, you know, reaching back. I haven't thought about it at all. So I just hear you're going to see her at that event. As I just said, 2819 brings out droves of people, like thousands of people, and they have stuff. So I'm like, again, I'm thinking it's me. You tripping, and you ain't gonna see that girl there. Okay. I pack up, I go to Atlanta, go to the event, and like I said, it was thousands of people there. It was, y'all, we were at the State Farm Arena. That line was wrapped around that arena. I think it was like wrapped around probably like a few times around that arena. It was so many people there. Long story short, we are in line for me and my mom, and we ended up meeting a friend there. We're in line for that event like probably 3 hours before like they ended up telling us that, well, telling the thousands of people who are outside that they're not gonna let anyone else into the event. So mind you, it's the big event in State Farm, then it's the like a building that holds at least like maybe 5, I think they said, to 7,000 people. So they tell us to go to overflow. Again, it's like, I think they said it was like 40,000 people there. So people flood overflow, bum rush overflow. When we finally get to overflow, overflow's full. So us and thousands of other people are just outside because we can't get in the main event. We can't get into overflow. So we're just outside. So everybody outside just started doing like having prayer circles. Literally got in prayer circles and just started praying like out loud, quietly, crying, worshiping outside. It was actually beautiful to see how, even though we couldn't get into either the main event or overflow, that we were able to still worship the Lord and praise him and pray and honestly like have community moment without a building or without the pastor being there. Just very beautiful to see. So I would say from that time it started, we were probably out there for like maybe an hour and a half at a prayer circle, praying and worshiping, crying, all the things, going to another prayer circle, doing it, you know, worshiping, all the stuff. I just happened to look over to my left, y'all. I saw that creator there, like steps from me. Moment of silence for God's goodness, okay? So going back to what I said a few minutes ago about how I literally heard, you're gonna see her at that event. And then I see her there. All right, I'm gonna keep going. So I see her there, and you know, when I saw her, you know, she wasn't like, you know, actively like worshiping or anything. And I heard, go talk to her. And I was like, oh, I ain't gonna do that. Not right now. This is not the time. Because again, like, I mean, she wasn't actively like crying or worship, like praying or anything. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a church event. We outside, like, it's crying and worshiping and singing and all the things. Like, I don't want to like go up to her about a business move, is what I told the Lord. Heard it again. Go talk to her. I just stood there, looked around, and was like, it's just not the time. If this is the, you know, only time I ever see her, then hey. But if I see her again, you know, it is what it is. I'll speak to her then. You know, if I see her again. So then, mind y'all, my mom is with me. So she ends up coming to me. She was like, hey, I gotta use the bathroom. So me, her, the girl that we met there, my newfound friend, are walking to the bathroom. It was a hotel a few hundred feet away. And as we're walking there, I'm telling y'all, it literally felt like the Holy Spirit was yelling at me. Go talk to her. Like, it was so loud. I think that's probably one of maybe a few times that I've like audibly heard the Lord. Like, it was like I was being yelled at. Had my mom say, hey, remember that creator I showed you back a few months ago? And she was like, yeah. I said, well, she's here and I need to go talk to her. And my mom was like, well, go talk to her then. I go back to the prayer circle. And at this point, you know, she was sitting on the sidewalk and there wasn't anybody sitting beside her. So I kind of like, you know, went over and sat beside her. And I'm a little awkward a little bit when it comes to like, you know, this is new territory for me. I'm a new aspiring entrepreneur. So when it comes to like entrepreneur to entrepreneur conversations, I don't really know. This is new territory for me. And you know, we're strangers, so I'm a little weird. And I just kind of like sat down, watching everybody do their thing and pray and all the stuff and cry and worship. And me and her are both kind of just sitting there. I really felt like God used this woman as like an icebreaker, because out of nowhere, I thought the creator knew her at first. But out of nowhere, this woman comes up and she was like, to the creator, she said, you're called to music. Your music is your ministry. And like basically like prophesying her. And the creator, she was like, listen, like, okay, thank you for that. Then the woman walked off. And I asked her, I was like, can you sing? And she was like, no. And we just kind of had like a little kiki moment. And then she was just like, but I mean, if that's what the Lord want me to do. I receive it. All right. I know y'all have been wondering, who is this creator that I keep referring to? Her name is Jadine Vermeil, and her business is Vermeil. She sells these luxury, stylish, cute heels for us big feet girls. She sells sizes 10 to 14, luxury style heels, and y'all, the heels eat, okay? The heels eat. Please go support her. I will link her socials below and her business page below. Y'all go support her, show out. She is amazing. All right, back to the story. I was like, I love your content. I've seen your business page before, and like, I really love what you do. Like, I love, you know, your testimony, all the things. And I said, I have a very similar testimony, and basically I'm trying to sell shoes for women who struggle like myself to find shoes that fit us, that are cute, all the things. But I literally am at a roadblock. Like, I am struggling to find vendors that are quality vendors, and like just kind of stuck. And I had asked her, I was like, do you have any advice or anything that you could like pour into me right now? Because like I'm struggling. She was so, y'all, she was so sweet. She was so freaking sweet. She was like, absolutely. She basically gave me all type of advice, and basically how, you know, she got to where she is at this point in her business, and really just gave me a lot of insight on a lot of the stuff that I had a big question mark in my brain about. We exchanged numbers, and she was like, you know, I'll give you some contact information about for like different people and stuff like that. After that interaction, me and her talked for a few more minutes, and then my mom, she did still have to use the restroom. So I ended up, you know, saying my little goodbyes and went out with my mom to use the restroom. So I came back home to Nashville, Tennessee that next day, and I had texted the creator, and I was like, hey, like, it was so nice meeting you. I'm really appreciative of all the advice you're able to give me. She hit me up the next day, literally so sweet, gave me all type of contact information for people, even like told me that she would be willing to help me like in the future going forward if I ever need it. Y'all, when I tell you, I was just in complete awe of God. When I say awe, I mean awe of God. It's just so crazy that back in June or July, my friend, who we both have terrible memories, can even think that, like, even go back in her brain enough to find this girl. She literally sends me her information, and I email her, don't hear anything back. I hear God say, I'm gonna see her at this event full of thousands of people. What are the odds, y'all, that she and myself don't get in the main event or overflow and are outside amongst the other thousands of people who also didn't get in? What are the odds? And then what are the odds that I actually see her there? I can't make this up if I tried. So I was just in utter awe and shock and just gratitude to the Lord. So really that right there helped me to even like get to the next step, which is like getting the shoes, you know, getting in touch with a vendor, all the things. God knew I needed that step, because that was literally like the hump I was struggling with. Because when I sell my shoes and launch my business, I don't want to sell crappy shoes. I wanted a quality vendor, a vendor who, you know, is a reputable vendor. For him to be so kind for me to meet her and for her to give me her vendor information, that's not even the craziest part. Well, I mean, it's a pretty wild part, but literally a couple days later, the same friend who sent me her information way back in July, we're on the phone talking about, you know, how the trip was and everything like that to Atlanta for this event. And I tell her everything I just told y'all. And she was just like, that is insane. Like, the Lord is really confirming that you're on the right path. And I was like, tell me about it. We got off the phone because she was doing this live stream prayer event. As she's on this live stream, y'all, I can't make this up, the pastor is prophesying, and she said he never does that. Like, it's always just like a prayer and worship, like live stream. It's never him prophesying. This pastor, we just got the phone at this point probably 2 hours ago. This pastor's prophesying I see shoes, a shoe business that is going to be impactful around the world. I'm sensing shoes. After we just got off the phone 2 hours ago, and I'm telling you this, and on the live stream, a pastor who never prophesies like this on a call, and my friend just so happens to hear it and send it to me. When she sent me that video, y'all, of him saying that, I could have busted out in tears in even more awe and amazement of God. Like, how kind of you to confirm, like, this is the path that you're wanting me to take. How good of, whoa, I'm getting excited talking about it. How kind and how good are you? You, like, God, you didn't even have to give me any confirmation at all. You could have just let me just baby step my way through this thing, and then eventually I see the fruits of it. You literally are confirming it on the front end for me just because you love me. Girl, I'm getting excited just talking about it out loud. This is a big part of the story that I completely left out. Y'all, I wrote my notes, y'all. I wrote my notes and I ain't even looked at them. Child, this is why I need to look at my notes. I told y'all I'm a nurse. When I left the ICU less than a year into it because I hated it that much, the thoughts of being a nurse practitioner went away with all my plans. Like, I said, I don't want nothing to do with this no more. I would rather swallow a pair of jeans whole than to go back to nursing school and suffer through what I suffered through again. You know, me and my mom were talking one day and she was like, you know, you should maybe consider going back because, you know, what better time than now? You're not married, you don't have a child yet. Like, what better time than now to go back to school and get your degree and or get your nurse practitioner degree and start making more money. And I said, you're right. Yeah, I mean, it's not my passion, but shoot, it's gonna make me some more bread, so why not? You know, I was getting ready to apply. I still was gonna do my business, but I was also gonna try to go back to school because, you know, I can juggle both. Why not? I'm Superwoman, right? Wrong. On the time of August, God told me, don't turn the application. Don't go back to school. And I was like, now God, that was just me, you know, that was just me. I'm just nervous to go back to school because of how traumatized I wasn't, you know, my first round of nursing school. So it's just me. And I just kind of was like, you know, okay, ignore it. And y'all, I'm still working on this, but let me just try to help anybody. If you know that God is telling you something, please don't be delusional like I am. Follow his voice and be done the first time. So you don't have to go through XYZ just to end up at the same place you would have ended up at had you just been obedient on the first go round. So anyways, me being hard-headed, the time the application opened up, what'd I do? I applied, turned in all my stuff, everything. So when I submitted my application to nurse practitioner school, I just didn't feel a peace about it. It was just like, now why did you do that? So then, y'all, I can't make this up again. A few days later, before the application was due, you guessed it, God told me, withdraw that application. And I was just like, but God, I can do both. I can do my business and go back to school. Like, plenty people, I'm sure, go back to school and run a business at the same time. Like, I can do both. And he was like, other people can do it, but I didn't tell you to do it. I didn't tell you to do that. And he really checked me. He was like, you going back to school instead of just trusting me that this vision I gave you years ago for this business is you operating in little faith. Are you going to operate in little faith and still go back to school after I told you not to? Because school and becoming a nurse practitioner is like the safe plan, the safe route, and the plan B, because you don't trust that this will work, or are you just going to trust me? And I said, okay. You got it, big dog. You got it. So I withdrew that application. I be feeling like God is so gentle with me, but sometimes he do have to be a little stern because I'm hard-headed. Like this is a flaw I can admit about myself, and I know, and I'm, we working on it. I withdrew the application not knowing how this was gonna play out with the business, because at that point, this was before all of, me meeting the creator and getting contact information and all the things and getting all like 2 confirmations back to back that God wants me right here. This was before all that. This was literally at the point where I had just like submitted to get my LLC and like all the official stuff of the business. So I had no confirmation at that point that this was even what I heard was even God for real. Like I had to trust that was him and know his voice. How do you know his voice? Through his word and through prayer. Let me just preface that too. When I withdrew the application with no plan B, and it was literally like this business or bust. And mind y'all, when it comes to me, anything I do, I always need like a second option, like a plan B. So for me to sit there and do that, that's probably like the first time ever that I didn't have anything to fall back on. I think that's communicated to God that, okay, she's ready for the next instruction. She's ready to put her full faith in me. She's ready to do that. And we get these 2 confirmations, these 2 miraculous God-given confirmations back to back. That was like unreal. If I had to sprinkle any type of encouragement, it would just be, please do yourself a favor and follow the Lord in whatever he's telling you. Because you will save yourself so many steps if you just be obedient on the front end. I'm not even gonna sit here and say it like I'm perfect and like I've mastered that, because I still kind of struggle and like have like those like times where I'm like, is that me or is that him? Or is that like the devil? Or like, am I trying to be tricked? You know what I'm saying? Like I still have those moments, but like I said before, you really know and can hear God's voice when you pray, read his word, and when you fast. When he tells you to do something, just do it. But yeah, y'all, the plan right now is to launch my business in April of 2026. Just to give y'all an overview of my business, it's for women who have been neglected, I feel, in the shoe industry. Larger feet, wide feet, whatever, to have confidence and be able to wear shoes that make us feel good, we look good, give God the glory while feeling confident. I really am very big on making this a kingdom business. Even though this is a shoe business, still incorporating the things of the Lord. So people who might not even know him, who buy my shoes, can still have something, a scripture, or something that points them to the Lord, to where they can maybe get curious. Right now, the biggest scriptures on this business, Genesis chapter 1, verses 27. Let's go to it, shall we? So God created man in his own image. He created him in the image of God. Psalms 139, verse 14, which is talking about how we are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. Us women with unique shoe sizes, how our feet are uniquely made, like we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We are literally made in God's image. If God calls you wonderfully made, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Girl. Can't no man, can't no devil tell you different, okay? Period. Like, if God himself says that, girl, you better act like you know. God makes no mistakes, so he knew what he was doing when he crafted us. Anything about us was crafted so beautifully by him. That even makes me encouraged. Like, I wish when I had such insecurities about my shoe size, I was more into the word so I could see those verses, because that is such encouragement. If you love this video and want to see more just about this journey and just about being an entrepreneur and all the things, or not even a solidified entrepreneur, but a new a girl who's still learning, who's still growing with the Lord, please subscribe. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. I am on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Arete Shoe Co. And that is ARETE Shoe Co. Thank y'all for joining me on this wild ride, and I'll talk to y'all later.